Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our call tonight, Discover Cell Performance. This is a very, very special call. My name is Alan Noble. I will be celebrating my 13th anniversary with this incredible company, Asea, in literally a week or two. And it's been an absolutely amazing journey. I've seen a lot of incredible life-changing things happen with Asea. But I'll tell you, I am fired up and excited about this brand new product division that we have called Cell Performance. And I am so grateful today to be joined by the formulator of these brand new products, Henry Lopez. So Henry, thank you so much for giving up some time and joining us on the call. Let me just introduce Henry a little bit. He's a bachelor's degree in nutrition from Southern Utah University. And prior to coming to Asea, he worked as an ingredient specialist with another direct sales company. After 6 years now with Asea, you've made many lots of the Asea Redox signaling technology. So although you're here as the expert and formulator of cell performance, you're also extremely knowledgeable about our core redox signaling technology. So you know the whole gamut of Asea. Yes. But you've been instrumental in these formulations. And I should add, you're also, people can't really see it on the screen, but you're a big guy. You're a health and fitness enthusiast.
Yeah. I definitely love that. You know, I wasn't blessed vertically, right? So there's only one thing I can do. And,
you went wide.
And go wide.
I love it. And you're also married and you have 3 young kids. I just wrote down their ages here, 3, 5, and 8. So you're a super busy man. And again, really grateful for you giving up some time here today on the call. So Henry, you've got some things that you would like to share. You've got your own PowerPoint deck. So let me allow you to share that. And
sure.
We'll get into our call.
Let me go ahead and share my screen.
I've been looking forward to this call ever since you agreed to it at convention. So really grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. You know, I keep getting a lot of people saying thank you to me, and it's really awesome. But I want to say thank you to everyone out there in the field because, you know, without you, you literally are the heart of Asea. So without you, I can't do what I do and what I really love doing. And I know that these products will be only as successful as we can make it. And I hope that I can provide everyone with some info and, you know, that you can use out there and, you know, spread the Asea story, right? And
very cool.
Yeah. So, all right. And like Alan said, I have 3 kids. So a lot of they were a big inspiration for me for these products, especially the mood one. So we'll get to that one in a little bit. So, all right. So cell performance, here's the $1 million question right now. Powered by Redox, right? We keep seeing this come up on labels and you know, they're going to be, you know, everywhere now. So I wanted to make sure we understand what cell performance powered by Redox means, but I do want to make sure that we know what it is not, right? It is not the same signaling molecules that you'll find in, you know, a Asea Redox supplement or Renew. These ingredients found in the Redox category are actually compounds that you can find in other products, but we blended them in a very unique way. And we actually used certain methods, parameters, which we call, that they had to fit in our Redox criteria to be included inside this formula. And a key theme to this is that these ingredients will actually allow your cells to trigger their own natural redox pathways. So this will allow your cells to basically boost them and allow them to basically perform at their best, hence cell performance, right? So let's go ahead and continue here. And again, Alan, stop me if you have any questions, as I can get a little passionate with these and I just keep talking. So I wanted to expand on these redox principles and what they are. Now, we won't really go into them too much, but I do want to let you guys know that, you know, we looked at gene regulation, we looked at cytoprotection, which is a fancy word for cell protection, adjust and recover, and adaptive response. And Andrea, who is our global scientific doctor here that does all the substantiation, she did a marvelous job making sure that every ingredient was going to fit in this criteria. And another guideline we had on creating these products were that we were given basically the no thank you list. So all of these products are, for example, don't have artificial sugars, flavors, either gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and we wanted to make sure that they didn't have the top 8 allergens.
I'll just stop you right there. I mean, to me, this slide is so important because you can put a lot of good stuff into a product, but if you're also packing in the bad stuff,
right,
it's not good. And you've kept these products so clean. I think that's the best word I could use. They're just really clean, healthy formulas. And that is super important for people to understand.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, Alan, because at convention, I was asked, why are these packets so light, right? They're like 1.9 grams, 2.8 grams, 3.3 grams. Now, we could have gone ahead and added fillers, right? A lot of companies will do that. So their packet looks nice and, just like full, but we weren't going to do that here. Yeah. So,
well, I'll tell you a quick story. So I was drinking, instead of the Redox Energy, before I was drinking a drink that was, I call it my pink drink, and it was a so-called healthy energy drink. And when I was amazed at how little powder, it was at least half the powder. And the first thing was, it's like, how do they get so much taste into such little powder? But then how do you get such great effects into such little powder? So it really struck me right at the beginning, because I have experience with powdered drinks, that these are concentrated formulas without the fluff.
Oh yeah. They pack a bang for sure for their size.
Yeah.
All right, so let's continue here on the Asea cell performance. So, during the formulation process, I went through so many variations, and I'm so thankful and grateful that so many people here participated in and gave me feedback, whether it was negative or positive. This is what allowed me to really, get in there and get a sweet spot for each ingredient, right? Because, we don't want to be too strong, too light. You just want to be just right, balanced. We also wanted to make sure that there was synergy between these ingredients. Now, what I mean between these ingredients, as you all know, you can actually mix these products, together. You can mix the mind and energy. That's personally my favorite mix. So if you haven't tried it out, please do so. I know, Alan, you like that mix as well.
I'll tell you, it's becoming the fast favorite right across the board. The other one then is mind and mood. That's become a favorite as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I keep getting so many user experiences with these, and honestly, that's what fuels me to keep doing what I do. And I'm so excited to keep hearing about these stories. So keep them coming.
Cool.
And again, we chose effective doses to meet the claims that we make with our products, which is very important.
And Henry, again, it's pretty rare. There's so many companies that are just focused on making a label look good. And so they do a little sprinkling and dusting. But this efficacious dose that you're putting in with these ingredients is really, really important.
Yeah, no, yeah. And a lot of these ingredients, they're not cheap either, right? So so we definitely wanted to make sure we met those claims. I wanted to start out with the Asea Redox Energy, with the benefits that you can see. Some of these benefits that you'll see is that it'll support the formation of the adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. This is essentially the energy source that your body will use. It's the currency. It's how it energizes everything. It also will support the production of energy from carbs, fats, and proteins. There's an ingredient here in the energy specifically, and we'll get to it later, but it's acetyl L-carnitine. Actually, what this ingredient can do, it can actually transport the lipids to the mitochondria to become energy, right? So the acetyl part, though, is really great because you can it'll cross the blood-brain barrier, and once it's in there, it breaks off and can create this compound called acetyl-CoA, which is something that it uses acetylcholine to make. It's a neurotransmitter we need to basically have good memory and attention. So yeah, so let's go ahead and continue. Any questions on that, Aaron?
Well, one of the comments that people say is that one of the ways they are describing redox energy is an alertness. It's not that energy like I feel I'm going to climb Everest or run a triathlon or something, but it's just this subtle, gentle lift where they go, I'm alert. And so it's interesting if you're talking about these neurotransmitters. Am I right in saying here, so the formation of ATP, so this product is actually helping your own body's natural resources and creating its own energy?
Yeah, exactly. It'll help it. I mean, everything in the end will have to be broken down to ATP some way or another. So you need to support your mitochondria to also be at its best. What I mean by its best is to help it with any oxidative stress that it has. And I'll repeat this later on, but this is a very important thing to remember, that if the mitochondria has too much oxidative stress on it or damage, it actually can't function as well, so it can't produce as much energy as it needs to.
Okay.
And as we age, this actually becomes a problem because your mitochondria stops being as efficient as it was. So it will actually use certain things that it used to use prior to, like NAD plus, which is a coenzyme, to just do basic functions. So you'll start noticing that you're not as energized as we age. So, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So here is the formula. It contains guarana, and I hope I said that right. I know Dr. Andrea Borges is the expert at saying this name. We have vitamin B3, L-theanine, acetyl L-carnitine, Alpinia galanga, Panax ginseng, B6, and B12. The top right, it looks like eyeballs. That's actually guarana, and the bottom right there left is Alpinia galanga, and the bottom right is Panax ginseng. So these are the roots of these. But an interesting story behind the energy one. I actually used my wife as a test subject because she is very sensitive to caffeine. So my thought process was here: if I can get my wife to not feel anxious and jittery, I've hit a home run. So what I did here was I put guarana, but I also use L-theanine and Alpinia galanga, which help with the jitters and everything. Because what happens is, so guarana contains caffeine. Now, caffeine is called a vasoconstrictor. What that means is that your blood vessels will actually get a little bit tighter, right? So your heart has to do more work. It has to pound the blood through the body, a lot more, what should I say, force. So when it does this, a lot of people get anxiety. So what you do is you include some things that are vasodilators, which is L-theanine and also Alpinia galanga help with that. So what that does, it kind of helps it neutralize it. So the blood vessels can, be okay, so you don't feel that jitterness and things. As well, by having the guarana as our caffeine ingredient, it contains natural tannins in it. Now, these are actually compounds, phytonutrients, that will allow the caffeine to be broken down very, very slowly. So you don't get that big crash, or a big crash, or a big, like a monster or something.
A big hit and then the crash afterwards.
Exactly.
And I think this is where this product, sometimes if people are used to that, they're going to find this a subtle, gentle energy. But likewise, just like your wife, we've got people that go, I could never drink energy drinks, but I love Redox Energy. I love that gentle, subtle lift, that feeling of just being alert, but not feeling that your system is just being, like an electric shock gone through your body, And so it's interesting. You're still getting all the benefits, but you're kind of, with these other ingredients, removing some of the negative implications of caffeine.
Yep. And another thing too is that, what I suggest, if you know someone that takes large amounts of caffeine, what happens to those individuals after a time of consuming such large amounts of caffeine, you eventually start getting adrenal fatigue, because you actually are releasing cortisol a lot of times when you are taking a lot of caffeine. And your body is so smart. What happens is the caffeine binds with this receptor called the adenosine receptor, and it binds with it so the adenosine doesn't make you sleepy. But as your body notices it's doing this, it creates more receptors. So a lot of times people will actually keep needing more and more and more caffeine because these receptors are being created more and more and more. So what I recommend to individuals who are used to taking large amounts of caffeine, maybe start by taking a break from these caffeine products and introducing maybe like the mind formula and then slowly introducing the energy one. So you can actually feel the results a lot better.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's go next right here.
And when you talk about, oh, you've got it here, we're just going to talk about, well, how much caffeine is actually in the Redox.
Yeah. So the guarana actually contains 80 milligrams of caffeine. So it's not like, it's basically less than a cup of coffee. I mean, I know that some of those Starbucks shots that you can take can get a little crazy. So a lot of caffeine. So it's not a lot of caffeine we're talking about here. And also we have acetyl L-carnitine. That was the ingredient I told you that kind of helps the lipids be used as energy. Contains Apina galanga, L-theanine, ginseng, and vitamin B3, B6, and B12.
Are you saying, so the acetyl L-carnitine, is this like helping your body tap into your fat for, a shift in the metabolism to burning fat as fuel?
Yeah, it becomes more efficient to letting it become more and burn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. But now I want to go ahead and kind of point out an ingredient that I really love. And I actually think this ingredient, when it hits, it hasn't become a super popular ingredient in the market yet, but I think we're going to see it.
Just before you go on, could you, just go back one slide? I apologize. The B12. So a lot of people with methylation issues, they always want to talk about, is it the methyl version? You've put the methyl version.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, you have two options, methylcobalamin, or you have the cyanocobalamin. So we went with the methylcobalamin here, just because obviously there's a better, there's science behind it as well, that it's very, bioavailability is great. And for those individuals that struggle to absorb it as well.
Yeah, the methylation. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. And then let's go ahead to Apina galanga. This is a branded ingredient. Now, this is another cool thing about our products is that we have branded ingredients in each of the products. What this means is that these branded ingredients go through a lot of clinical studies, and we actually can access them because once we use them and do a trademark license agreement, we can use them. So feel free to, if you're on Google, type in Apina galanga EN extra, and you're going to see all the studies that have been done with it. And they're really, really interesting to read if you want to geek out and go ahead and read some. So, but some of these studies that I really, drew my attention to Apina galanga, and the reason why I wanted to use it was I wanted to make caffeine be sustained for a longer period of time. What I mean by that is caffeine usually has a peak level about an hour to 2 hours to see the max effects, and then it starts to go down. So when you pair it with Apina galanga, what they saw in the studies is that you can actually see the effects of caffeine be sustained for about 5 hours, right? So a lot of times people at convention were telling me, Henry, I took the product, but I could not sleep. I was up till like 3 a.m. I mean, yes, it works, right? It works. That's a good thing. But the sustained feeling is the association that it has with the Apina galanga. And like I said, those studies are really awesome.
Isn't that what we really want? We want a gentle lift that then continues. I mean, that's what winning in this looks like.
Oh yeah. So, and the nice thing again with another thing that it does, it can actually block the reuptake or the absorption of dopamine, right? So it can enhance that dopamine there, and dopamine is very important for your mental clarity and your mental alertness. So that's another thing that'll help with. And it also helps with your antioxidant systems, which is your internal antioxidant system. So your catalase, your glutathione, superoxide dismutase. So these are very important because, like I said earlier, the mitochondria, if it gets too much oxidative damage, it's going to slow it down and it's going to start to make less energy. So we're hitting this in so many different angles here, right? We're hitting it in the cells, so, and that immediate but sustained feeling. Let's see. Any questions, Alan?
No, I love it. It's just a weird looking plant. What is that?
Yeah,
root or a plant?
Yeah, if I saw that, I wouldn't pick it up. So let's keep going here. Here is the mind formula. So if Andrea, you're watching, Dr. Andrea Borges, this is her favorite product. She is one of the persons that initially was like, Henry, I can feel a big difference when I take it and I don't take it. So she was awesome doing that. So what the Redox Mind, the benefits here are it's going to help boost certain areas of your brain performance, like focus, memory, clarity, sharper thinking, and obviously your overall brain health. Um, and here are the ingredients on this. This is the NMN, the red orange complex, garden sage, Spanish sage, phosphatidylserine, zinc citrate. There's two branded ingredients in here, the red orange and the cognivia, which is the garden sage and Spanish sage. Something really cool about this. So the NMN ingredient.
Now, hold on a second. I have to stop you. I have to hear you actually pronounce NMN.
Yeah, the nicotinamide mononucleotide.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister, right? But after saying it for so long, I've gotten used to it. Something really cool about this ingredient, and also phosphatidylserine. If you go on Amazon and you look at these ingredients by themselves, they're averaging about $40 to $50 just by themselves. So when you have these two ingredients together, plus other two branded ingredients, you're getting a heck of a deal. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the fact that we're using the amounts that you need to see the effects and to meet the claims is amazing here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to open up again with my favorite ingredient in this, and I actually have a lot of them in this, but I'll go ahead and go with cognivia. Wait, do you want me to go over real quick?
Yeah, just go back a second. So I got to say, first of all, mind that these are much more attractive ingredients. They look a lot nicer. They look more appetizing.
Yeah, they're not as yeah, the other ones, yeah.
And the eyeballs and the weird shaped things. So yeah, this looks
right. And also, sorry, go ahead, Alan.
So I was going to say that there's it was interesting when I first drank, the energy has a citrus taste and the mood has a tropical taste. And it was interesting, the mind, I couldn't quite place it, Yeah. And I think it's, is it the sage that's coming through?
Yeah, it's the sage that's coming in the back notes. Like when you're done drinking it, you get that little herby like feeling. But I'm glad you stopped me there, because a lot of times individuals will, once they mix the energy, they'll see little clumps, right? So they are like some things that are residuals in there. So that's actually going to be part of your guarana and your pina galanga. So they're not completely soluble, but these are part of the herbs as well. And again, to our first comments that we were making, Alan, we could have added things in here to basically break it down and added more artificial things to help it be completely soluble, but we didn't. We wanted to stay clean,
Well, I think it mixes great. And I have to add that after about my first two tastes, I just love the taste of this product.
Yeah, it's kind of like an acquired taste, I feel like.
Yeah, but you acquire it very quickly.
Yes,
it's just the first time you kind of go, I can't quite place this taste, but then people love it, absolutely love it. So
and let me tell you what these are real quick. So the red orange complex is going to be the top. So that's actually a mixture of 3 different type of oranges. They grow them in the Sicilian area that is really rich in dirt, so it can become really, it has a lot of anthocyanins in it. So what that means is the pigment that you see inside it, that little colorful, that really colorful feeling, those are anthocyanins. Those are very beneficial to your health, and kind of antioxidant helps. And let's see it back here, and then that's the garden sage in the bottom left.
Did you explain the NMN? I may have distracted you because I asked you to pronounce it.
Yeah. So NMN. So this one will help your cell and basically against any cell disruptions, and it helps the brain age in a healthy way. This is so important, right? Because in a lot of products out there that cognitive products, they're hitting just short-term memory, but we want to make sure that we're also hitting long-term health, brain health. I know that a lot of you look on the internet and stuff, they're calling NMN like the fountain of youth. So the NMN is really interesting because it's used in a pathway to create NAD+, and this is used in the cells, throughout the cells, to make other things. For example, sirtuins. Sirtuins are actually responsible for basically communicating to different parts, like your genes. And they'll say, okay, we gotta start repairing this, repair that, right? And as you age, that NAD+ that you need to do that decreases. So by providing this, you're actually providing pathways to help more NAD+ be made.
Very cool.
Then, so Besides this one, I wanted to talk more about cognivia, which is a garden sage and Spanish sage. Um, the really cool thing about this ingredient is that Spanish sage is typically found in oil form. So the really cool thing about this ingredient is that they found a way to micro encapsulate it in a patented process so they can mix these two together. So it's basically one of a kind ingredient you're seeing here. And there's so many clinicals. I believe now there's 8 clinical studies done with it. So if you're at home, look up the studies that have been done with this ingredient. There's 8 clinical studies published. So another good thing about this ingredient, when I chose it, I wanted to make sure that individuals felt an effect right away. So the single effect, like from an hour, you can feel it from an hour up to 6 hours, and our consumer studies validated that, where individuals were seeing that they felt the results pretty fast. I don't know, Alan, how about you? Do you feel like you felt that you're more focused right away, or?
Well, I had one of these calls to do, which is at 8 p.m. Central Time,
Yeah.
and it was a few weeks ago, and I was dragging a little bit, and I didn't want to take another energy because I didn't want to be up all night.
Mm.
And so it was either, what was I going to do? I was almost going to jump in a cold swimming pool. And so instead, I took a mind, and literally within 15 minutes before the call, it was like my mind was working. It's like everything was firing. The words were coming to me. I was very clear-headed, very, very focused. And so, yeah, it works very, very quickly.
It does. And another cool story about this ingredient is that initially, this ingredient was studied with video gamers. So that population, again, when you're distributing or you're talking to people about this, you can bring up, young, like 18-year-olds or whatever, and you can tell them how this is really cool. That was made for video gamers. But after they saw the results, they're like, well, let's give it to everyone. Now, I'm not implying that you're going to become a better gamer, but your attention will be better, right? I know
So
for a fact.
attention and reaction time and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I wanted to expand on this, right? Because it allows your high cognitive level processes to basically be better, right? So like what these are is your attention, your working memory, your long-term memory, and your executive function. So basically attention is like when you have just one task, right? Or you can divide it into different tasks. I know that a lot of times when you mixing mind and energy, because a lot of times we have the energy, but we don't have that focus to do the task.
Mhm.
And then by the end of the day, you say, what the heck did I do today?
Yeah.
I had so much energy, but I basically didn't get anything done, right? So this is going to help with your attention, right? So you can divide and be focused on different things at the same time. The other thing it's going to help with is your working memory. So like, for example, that's your reasoning, your planning, your problem solving, language and learning. And also the other thing that helps with your long-term memory. Obviously, that allows you to save information and just recall it after a certain period of time. And then you have the executive function, which that's, you're able to, plan, determine strategies. And that one's, I found it a little funny, to change our mind. I feel like that one I'm very good at. So, and to adapt ourselves to like work in a team. So it helps with all these parts of high cognitive level processes.
Yeah.
Is there any questions, Alan?
No, it's great.
Okay. So let's go on to the mood product, Redox Mood. So what this product does, it helps you promote that feeling of calmness. It helps your brain go into a lower gear. It does contain an ingredient called GABA. So this ingredient actually is basically nicknamed the brakes of the brain. So it helps you slow down. And it also helps a lot of the mood regulating hormones and neurotransmitters to help you, be in a better mood as well. So let's get into the ingredients real quick. That really pretty flower on top is actually saffron. It's a very expensive ingredient, as you probably all know who cook. I don't cook, but I knew it by a different way that it was very expensive. And let me actually add to that real quick. Let me tell you a little story. So when I was making this product, I got the price and I was like, oh my gosh, this is very expensive. It was like, I want to say about like $2,800 for 2.2 pounds, around there. So, and the nice thing is that when I took it to the team, I wasn't shut down with it, because a lot of other companies would have said, you know what, too expensive, let's not use it. But here, we didn't cut any corners. We wanted to make sure that we knew this ingredient would provide those benefits, and we were going to have that in there. So I really appreciate that integrity from Asea, and I can validate that for you right now.
Yeah. And again, you're not just sprinkling it in, you're using
No.
these ingredients at their efficacious dose. I cannot stress that enough, because again, so many companies, they want their label to look good, but you don't necessarily know how much is actually in there. So yeah, we really appreciate the integrity of Asea corporate.
Yeah, no, yeah. And yeah, then you have your ashwagandha and rhodiola rosea. So those are actually called adaptogens. They help your body kind of adapt to any stressors. And they also, the way they do that is they actually help, lower some of these hormones or things that produce, negative effects. Like cortisol, obviously you need it, but if you have it for too long, that can be detrimental to your health, right? Another cool thing about the ashwagandha root extract and rhodiola is, individuals, I saw some studies, and you can look at these as well, is that there are studies out there that shows that it helps with adrenal fatigue. So how earlier I was talking about individuals who take too much caffeine, they get adrenal fatigue. These ingredients actually help with that because they help lower the cortisol levels. So what you could be doing is you're taking your energy, and then later on you can take your mood product as well. So you're helping your adrenal glands as well as you're taking the other products, in case there's any fatigue that is being caused. Another thing with this product, and I'll go ahead and actually save that, what I was going to say, for a little bit later. So here's each of the ingredients and kind of help show what they kind of help do. So it helps your body regulate stress hormones to create a feeling of relaxation, which is the ashwagandha and rhodiola. The saffron, which helps support the stress, and it actually helps a lot with sleeping. I don't know if you've heard a lot of those testimonials yet, Alan, about people getting like super deep sleep. Yeah, and I have actually a cool study I'll open up about it a little bit later on that. It has L-tyrosine as well, which is involved in actually creating a lot of these good feel neurotransmitters. And when you have constant anxiety and stress, you actually decrease your levels of tyrosine in your body. So it's good to supplement it so you can have that as you need it. And then obviously the GABA, which helps regulate your mood and kind of puts you in a little bit more calm state. And then the B5, it regulates your stress hormones and it helps improve your relaxation. So let's open up really quick on this ingredient, Afron. So this one as well has clinical studies. It contains safranal and crocin. These are what give the benefits of Afron that have been studied for it. Here's an example of the mood study. Intake for 4 weeks of Afron increased mood, reduced anxiety, and managed stress. That's really cool to point out, though, because a lot of individuals that I've talked to think that this is a one and done deal, but you actually will see better benefits, or you'll continue seeing benefits after prolonged use. In fact, this is, like I was saying, this is a 4-week study. And if you look at the mood states, mean change in the top right, you can see that after a 4-week change, the pink is a placebo, and the purple right here is going to be when they were supplementing with Afron. So you can see that it was reduced, a lot of these themes lowered. And then this one was really interesting, vigor. So why was it increasing vigor? Well, the thing is that a lot of individuals, what happened was, and this is why they did the sleep study, is that they noticed that, and they actually did the study with the insomnia severity index, and they noticed that it helped people go into the NREM stage a lot deeper. So you'll go into this deep state of sleep, so you wake up feeling more refreshed in the daytime. So that's why it was increasing that.
Right. This is an amazing graph, the difference of this. I think it is fascinating that, again, yes, we have this immediate effect with these products, but with continued use, we should see even better improvements. In fact, we were talking earlier before we started this webinar that, like, for example, the phosphatidylserine in the Mind product is it's a fatty lipid, is that correct? And it helps protect, protection of the brain cells and things like that. And so continued use of that and building up the supplementation of that should have an ongoing cumulative effect.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right, Alan. Like, example, that's a great example, the phosphatidylserine. So that's involved in, covering the outside of the cells. And this is kind of what allows things to go in and out. But as we age, it's not very good at doing this anymore. So it can't basically keep things in and out as great, or it's just not functioning at the level it used to be. So it's called the fluidity changes on it. Also, the myelin sheath are actually covered with some part of this. So that's why it helps, transmit those signals. So you need phosphatidylserine for all these things.
So over time, keeping the brain healthy. And the same here, over time, this beautiful cumulative effect of this incredible ingredient on our mood and the decrease here, tension, depression, anger, fatigue, confusion is beautiful. Who doesn't want less of those things in their life?
No, definitely, right? And again, if you want to see those studies, just go on Google and just type in Afron, and you'll be able to see these studies. Let's go ahead and and you know what? That was it for me.
That's it. Cool. Yeah. Well, let's stop share.
Yeah, let me see here.
Oh, there we go. Cool. Henry, that was fascinating. I find this stuff absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
We're not going to open it up for questions here simply because I could promise you'd be here for another 3 hours. And really you've answered it all. I had one question written down, and that was just, these products over time, and we've just answered that. And so look, all it leaves me to say is just thank you for all of your hard work, all of the time gone in, the expense gone in, to really formulate products that people like myself can go out into the world and with total confidence know that we are bringing something of incredible value to the marketplace. And as you've beautifully pointed out, very clean formulas, very clean, all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff, and formulas that are at their efficacious dose. We're not playing head games. We're not just sprinkling in things. These are powerful formulas that are designed to get immediate results, an immediate lift, an immediate sensation, but formulas that over time can have this beautiful impact on our health and well-being. And that takes a lot of doing to put all that together.
Oh yeah, it does. It was fun. And honestly, keep sending your stories in about your personal experiences, because that's what honestly keeps me inspired. And like I said, like Alan said, these tools are going to be a lot easier to hand out, right? You just see someone that's just seems tired. Here you go, take an energy. I don't have to explain too much more. No, you feel grumpy. Here you go.
We're teaching people 4 words: fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, and overwhelm. And we have amazing solutions to problems that millions and millions of people have out there. So again, Henry, thank you so much for giving up some time. You took some of your family time here tonight, but really appreciate it. I love that. That was fantastic. So on behalf of everybody, I want to thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Alan.
Okay, cool. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.